A warm welcome to one and all who joined here for this wonderful short-term training program on the topic of Python for engineers. So the topic says that there is a programming language which is essential for the engineers. It is not saying that Python programming for CSC department students. It's basically saying that it's very much essential to any upcoming graduate in the field of engineering, be it a civil engineering, be it a mechanical engineering as well, which there is a assumption that, okay, in case if it is a programming language, it is basically meant for circuit branch people like CSC, IT, Triple E and ECE. But it's not the case anymore. Why? Because nowadays, there are two reasons why we need a programming language for every BTech or BE student, right? Why? Because first reason is because of the intention of the current generation students to become software engineers. Whatever branch of study you are pursuing right now, 90% of the engineering graduates want to go in a software engineering job. And some of them, even recently, it has been observed that many people, even though they are coming from other BTech backgrounds, they are joining MS in United States, especially with respect to artificial intelligence, with respect to data science. Why I'm saying this is some of my students at NIT Nagaland recently, they are Telugu students only, right? I think they are from the same district. One of the student is from, I think, Guntur district. Okay, he got, I don't remember exactly, he got two uh, opportunities in United States of America, one with stipend and one without stipend. And both are, he is basically a BTech ECE student, but he is joining MS in computer science exclusively in artificial intelligence field. So without any programming knowledge, obviously there is no software engineering career. So that is one reason that everybody has to learn Python. And the second reason is, even if you are working for a core company, for example, you are a triple E student and working for power grid company. Okay, I say I'm not very much familiar with the terminology of triple E, but I would like to tell from my little knowledge. Some of the researchers are working on smart grid. Basically, the power generation point gives some power and it's been monitored. And nowadays, if you talk about smart cities, right, the amount of power being dissipated or the amount of power being distributed from the distribution point and the amount of power being utilized in a different household, domestic and industrial area, right? People are writing projects on such kind of applications, and those applications need some kind of programming knowledge. For example, a triple E student can write some code in LabVIEW. Some speech processing, basically the communication department students are working on speech processing. Maybe they might be using MATLAB or Python. And even in mechanical engineering and civil engineering, people are now working on solutions which are based on the software automation. So everybody in this current generation needs programming. I will take one more example, not only from engineering background. If in case if you are a doctor, right? We are not a doctor here, but I'm just telling you the biomedical image processing. So exclusively it is a combination of medical field and engineering. So one of my colleagues is working on biomedical image processing. So how does it matter for biomedical engineering with, because in the background people are writing algorithms. I believe that I think last year in Andhra Pradesh and other engineering colleges, uh, there is a specialized BTech programs which are started. If I am not wrong, BTech artificial intelligence, BTech machine learning, BTech data science. So why these kind of specialized courses are being started now? Because the AICT has believed in one thing, that in this digital driven era, people need programming languages. People need programming skills to automate solutions. It can be an industrial automation. It can be an virtual instrumentation. It can be a smart grid. It can be communication field. It can be speech processing. It can be signal processing. It can be healthcare. It can be banking sector. Everybody needs some kind of programming language background. Okay, so with this, uh, maybe I don't like talking much in theoretical aspect, but I just want to motivate everybody that I am not sure exactly how many of you are familiar with C programming or data structures or C++ or Java. But what I want to request every one student who is present here or any faculty here is, in case if you have fear about programming languages, what I believe from your college secretary sir and the principal sir and the organizer Uday Kiran sir, what I understood is this program is exclusively meant for grooming the students of final year, so that you will be industry ready, and when any campus selection comes, you can get a good career opportunity. So keeping this in mind, I would like to teach Python programming to the best of my knowledge in 90% hands-on sessions only. I am going to talk theoretical part only for a 10% of my lecture. Because this is the first day, I have to introduce you why Python is very much significant. I might have spoke for 5 to 10 minutes without typing any program, but take my assurance that all the days I am going to type programs in front of you, or I will show you some programs which I have practiced, and each and every line of the program I will explain. And my intention is not to teach program, but my intention is to inculcate a behavior which is most essential for engineers, that is thinking the logic for solving the problems. So even though the workshop or the short-term training program is based on Python, I am going to explain you first how to think about the logic, and then definitely I'm going to explain Python programming. So with this very maybe 10 hours, 10 minutes of short notes on why Python is required, I would like to thank once again the organizers of this particular program, principal sir, secretary sir, and everyone and all the participants. I wish you a very happy learning going ahead in this complete. I think it is 16 days, but I think we can go for one more day, like till 31st of May. It will be exclusively nearly 34 hours of learning journey. Okay, so now let me quickly share my screen, and I would like to start my session with the basic concepts of Python. Just for 2 minutes, let me show you the topics that we are going to learn in this particular program. Initially, like every day will be of 2 hours, and I request everybody kindly try to join the session 5 minutes before, so that exactly by 4 o'clock we can start the session. Okay, now you can see initially I am going to teach you about the fundamentals, and then tomorrow we are going to see about a caching method that is called as interning in Python. So after that, we are going to study about some more basic concepts like different non-primitive data structures, strings, and functions. So after 4 days onwards, we are going to completely understand some advanced concepts in Python. Advanced concepts in Python. For example, you can see clearly that file management, and in file management, I am going to teach you about text file handling and comma separated value and Excel file handling also. So in 2 days, I am going to explain you different basics about file management in Python with text file, comma separated file and Excel file handling. Then we will move on to Python database connectivity. We will move on to Python database connectivity. So everybody might be knowing about the importance and the significance of communicating with the database through a programming language. So if you can observe clearly, every topic will be a case driven approach only, less theory and more hands on. And in every topic from the file management, I am going to take some case studies and I am going to implement the case studies in front of you by explaining the logic and also the programming. After the file management and database connectivity, I am going to explain you the network programming. Basically, it is also known as socket programming. So when you want to have a communication between, right now, we are able to join in the Zoom application and you are able to hear me and I am able to show you the screen which is shared from my laptop. And the voice of Nagaraju, the image of Nagaraju and the screen of Nagaraju is also being communicated right now. How it is possible? It is only possible because we are connected to internet, and network programming is the heart of such kind of applications being into existence. After network programming, you might be hearing about caching in the operating system. I am going to show you practically how to implement the caching scheme using Python. Okay, so that will be another advanced concept which I am going to cover. And then coming down, I am going to explain you web application frameworks. For example, Flask and Django. There are two web application frameworks. One is a lightweight, another one is a complete end-to-end framework, that is Django. The lightweight is Flask. Okay, so I am going to explain you how to create a simple web applications. I think everybody will understand what is a web application. For example, you are going to book a ticket in IRCTC. For example, recently some movies has come before the lockdown, and many of the people stopped going to the movie theater counter and get the tickets. Most of you might be using Book My Show app. So what is an app? It's basically a web application, right? So I am going to explain you a simple case study oriented web application development. And in the end of the session, I am going to introduce you some Python libraries exclusively used for image processing, machine learning, and data science. So the curriculum is designed in such a way that you guys, when you are going for campus selection, first thing is foundational concepts. You should be strong in your foundational knowledge, and you should also know some advanced concepts. Nowadays, people are learning specialized concepts also. I will tell one last example. When I studied BTech and MTech, right, in the year 2001 and 2005 and 2006 and 2008, I am a graduate from Andhra University College of Engineering University campus in Visakhapatnam, right? There, when I was not interested to join the software job after BTech, so I did MTech and then I got campus selected. For example, during our time, our main motivation was to get a job. It can be HP, it can be Infosys, it can be Wipro or anything. I got selected in the first company, that is Wipro, in the year 2007, when I am in the end of my first year MTech. and then I got selected in HP. I joined HP immediately after I completed my MTech because I felt that HP is better than some other X company which I got selected. I'm not comparing here, but during that time, our intention, see, I am telling about Nagaraju as a student, as an MTech student, as a BTech student. In our time, our aim is to get a job. But trust me, one of the student, his name is Utkarsh Tripathi. He is from UP. He is from Uttar Pradesh. When he joined the first year, this is a story 3 years ago. When he joined, now he is in final year. When he joined, because I teach C language for all the first year students in NIT Nagaland, one day I got a text message. Sir, my career is ruined. Suddenly when I see my career is ruined from a first year student, I was a little bit worried. Then I asked, why? Sir, I am interested in programming, but I got ECE department seat. I want to become an artificial intelligence specialist. You see, the moment he joined, within 10 days, a student is thinking about a career in artificial intelligence field. Then he was worried because I got into CSE, I didn't get, I am into ECE, I didn't get CSE. Why I'm telling this example is, I'm trying to motivate you guys. You people are in a generation where it is much, much faster than my generation, your teacher's generation. You are much, see, my kids are much faster than me. You are actually more advanced than me. Your intelligence is more advanced than me in my age, right? So you people are now needing a specialization also in the BTech itself. Some people will ask you what subject you are interested in. That's nothing but from the foundational concept, they want to test you how good you are in your favorite subject. So that's why keeping this in mind, the last 6 hours will be some more specialized concepts like image processing, what are the libraries, machine learning, what are the libraries, data science, what are the libraries. So I believe that this design of the program is very much useful to you. So forgive me if I have taken a lot of theory because it is the first day. It's my responsibility to give you the motivation and to give you a rough idea that really, if you are regular and if you are following me, I'm not saying I'm a great teacher, but that you will be able to tell me at the end of the each session or at the end of the each program. Trust me, definitely your mindset will change. I cannot guarantee that just because you are listening to me, you are going to get a 10 lakhs package, you are going to get 20 lakhs package, or you are going to get a good job. I cannot guarantee job, but I can guarantee one thing, your mindsets will change towards programming. In case if anybody is feeling that programming is very difficult, I don't know, I can study theory, but I am unable to write program. Trust me, please listen to the concepts, and in case if you have any doubt, immediately respond in the chat box or unmute yourself and stop me. Do not hesitate to ask any doubt. You can take help from your friends, you can take help from your faculty, and do not hesitate. I am not going to scold you, or I am not, in case if you are asking some doubt and if I am unable to answer, definitely I will learn and teach you in the next day. And I never feel bad if anybody is asking a doubt which I cannot answer. And that will be the best day for me, because through a student, I will get an opportunity to learn new things. So now, let me ask you one small question. Let me be more interactive. How many of you know how to install Python? Let me just come to the chat box and see. Can some participants respond, please? Oh, is the chat not enabled? Maybe. Because I can see some people are raising hand, so I don't know. Organizer, sir, is the chat enabled or?
Now it is enabled.
Okay, okay,
Yes,
thank
sir,
you,
it is
thank you. Thank you, sir. So as many people are responding that, okay, some people are saying, I don't know. Okay, so I'm not going to explain how to install Python, but after this session, I will share you, maybe I will share to Uday Kiran sir about a small document about how to install Python. In case if you are not knowing how to install Python, do not worry. It's very simple procedure. Without my document also you can install. But anyways, for the benefit of the students, I am going to give you one small document about Python installation. Okay, then next one I want to show you is many people use different integrated development environments. For example, Jupyter, PyCharm, etc., etc. In my way of teaching, I am going to use a plain text editor called as Notepad++. A plain text editor. Why? Because one strong reason why I don't use any hi-fi integrated development environment is when you use specialist IDEs for Python, or for example in Java if you use Eclipse, if you type 2-3 alphabets, rest all prompting will come. For example, if you type some object dot, all the methods available will automatically come. You will go and select and you will not be able to realize how to program from scratch. So that's why I am not going to use any IDE, but if you are comfortable with only using IDE, I suggest please shift your focus to text editor based C program execution, text editor based data structures execution, C++, Java and Python. Okay. So how to install Notepad++? I have prepared a document. I am going to share with Uday Kiran sir about this also. Then what I have done in my machine is after installing Notepad++, see this is the file which will come, notepad++.exe. What I have done is I copied this file and again pasted in the same directory and renamed as npp.exe. Why? Because to launch Notepad++ from the command prompt, I will use a shortcut npp. So in my machine, if I type npp, Notepad++ will come. So this is the environment. Usually, before starting any programming language hands-on session, it's my responsibility to tell you what kind of environment I am going to use. With this, I think 20 minutes of theory session. Let us quickly move on to our practical oriented Python session. So let me come to the chat box and see. Okay. Yes, I think Uday Kiran sir has already given the link for installing notepad++.org. Thank you, sir. Okay. Now, let me, the way I practice and I teach Python program is directly from the command prompt of my Windows machine. Microsoft button and R gives me the chance to run command prompt. See, this is the command prompt. I am going to F drive and make directory CAET. Okay, I am making a directory. I am going to CAET. Okay, whatever program I am going to teach you in all the days session, I am going to keep this in this particular directory. Okay, and at the end of every session, I will take some screenshots if I am explaining something for you in a text, and all the programs I am going to keep with the screenshots. It will be a material and I will share at the end of the session every material in terms of a zip file to Professor Uday Kiran sir. Thank you. Now, before starting the Python program, let me write a simple program in C language. You may wonder why this guy is starting C language when the need of the hour and the topic is Python for engineers. To explain you one topic in Python, I am writing a C program purposefully. Even you can see, I am going to write the C program also in Notepad++. LPP in my machine launches Notepad++ text editor. So I request all the people to please pay some attention on the concept what I am going to tell you. I think everybody will agree with me what is the standard input output header file. And I am writing the main function. Then I think everybody can also agree with me what is int x equal to 1. X is a variable. The data type of x is integer. The value of x is 1. If I want to type the value, for example, printf, the value of x is %d x. See, this is a very simple program, right? What I am going to do here, I am declaring a variable x and printing the value of x. Let me execute this program from the command prompt. Let me execute this program from the command prompt. I believe that some of you may know GCC compiler. In case if you don't know, do not worry about it. GCC is a C language and C++ compiler, okay, which can compile the C program. The command for compiling the C program is GCC space -o. Basically, -o is the object file name. -o is object file. What is an object file? .exe file. Suppose my .exe file is simple program. Simple program .c. What does it mean? I am telling you, I am telling the compiler, GCC compiler, that my object file name is simple program.exe. Even if you write .exe or even if you do not write .exe, it will create exe file only. Okay. So what is this command? Compile my program GCC. Basically, GCC will compile the C program and creates simple program.exe. In case if you have any doubt, just come here and see how many files are available in my machine. In my machine, I have only one file, that is this particular simple program.c. I have no other file, and it is created on 15th May at 4:39 p.m. That means just now I created. There is no exe file. How to create a exe file? That's what I was telling you here. Let me clear the screen. GCC, the object file is simple program.exe. Whether you write .exe or not, it does not matter. From simple program.c, I type the command. It may take a while. And in case if there is no syntactical errors, I am going to get a simple program.exe also. It's taking too much of time. So we will just wait for a minute. Yeah, it has come out. Now, please see the dir commands output. It shows clearly that simple program.exe also has come now. I believe you guys are able to understand. This is my program, and simple program.exe is the executable file. So if you want to execute the program, you need to call simple program.exe. See, my idea is not to teach you C program, but I just want to show you one important concept. When you type simpleprogram.exe, it will show you the value 1. The value of x is 1. The value of x is 1. Basically, what I have done, I just wrote a command like npp simple program. Then the next command is the compilation. And then the next command is just calling the simple program.exe. Either you put .exe or you simply omit. It will show you the output. Now, why I am telling this simple program in Python workshop, right? So let me just tell you. First, let me take the screenshot, which I am going to share with you. Now, let me modify the program. Let me modify the program. Now, I removed the data type integer. I removed the data type integer. Now tell me whether this program will get compiled successfully or not. Over to the students now. See, I want to be much interactive as well. So in between, I will ask some doubts, or I may come to the chat box and see. In case if you have any difficulty, please type in the chat box if you don't want to unmute and ask. Now tell me, the students, please tell me whether if I remove the data type from the C language, whether the compilation will be successful or not. One of the participants responded, not compiled successfully. Yes, I agree with that. Why? So now many people are also responding that it will not compile. Now tell me why it will not compile. All the participants are correct. Whatever you are typing, your response is 100% correct. But tell me the reason. Yes, one of the participants, Mokshagnya and Kavita, they are responding correctly. Like one of the participants is saying no data type, another participant is saying declaration error. Perfect. The answer is okay. Another participant is saying in C language we have data types. Okay, let us just compile and see. GCC object file simple program from the simple program.c. Immediately it is giving me an error saying that, boss, you have not declared what is x. It is clearly showing me an error stating that x equal to 1 has some issue in C language. When we are compiling, it says, boss, you go and first declare what is x. Compiler could not understand what exactly is x. It says x is undeclared. What does it mean? It means that in C language, the variable declaration mandatorily need the data type of the variable. Suppose if I don't give the value, it will agree. For example, if you write int x, it will agree. If you write int x equal to 1, it will agree. But if you do not write any data type, I am just telling int, but you can use floating point, character, any other data type. In C language, the variable declaration, or you can say the variable is strongly binded with its data type. Technically, we should, as a final year student, in case if you tell whatever answer you told is 100% correct, I cannot deny. But when you are going for campus selections, because of the competition right now, it is there with you guys. You are not only the BTech people who are getting passed out, right? There are so many colleges in India and exclusively in southern part of India and mainly in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Tamil Nadu, right? Half of the engineering graduates are passing out from southern part of India only. So how to sustain the competition to prove that you are better than somebody? How you can prove that you are better than somebody? By responding to the query in the most technical way, such that the interviewer will get convinced with your answer. Okay, so what you have to tell is, in C language, the variable is strongly binded with its data type. Okay, so in other terms, simple terms, no data type means no variable declaration allowed. No variable declaration allowed. What is this property? What is this property? Can somebody unmute and tell now? What is this property? That a variable is strongly binded with its data type. Can somebody unmute and tell me? Okay. This property is called as strongly typed language. What is type here? Type means data type. What is strongly binded? In case if you do not give the data type, then you cannot declare the variable. And why we are talking about this concept here as the first topic in the Python for Engineers workshop, I will let you know in another 5-10 minutes. C language is a strongly typed language. See, I am typing everything and I am going to take a screenshot so that this will become a notes for you and I am going to share. I believe that everybody understood clearly what I explained just now. C language is a strongly typed language. Rishi Panindra, your answer is not correct, Amma, because it will not compile. Because you can see clearly, Rishi Panindra, you can see clearly it will not even compile. It will not even compile. Okay, why? Because mandatorily this is required. Mandatorily it is required. Now, let us come out of the C programming. So C language is a strongly typed language. C++ is a strongly typed language. Java is a strongly typed language. Now, let me write a program called as understand variables.py. So NPP is for launching the Notepad++, and the first program of our workshop is understand variables.py. .py stands for a Python program, a Python file basically. So it will open the text editor with an empty understand variables.py. Now let me write a program x equal to 1. See, in C language we put semicolon. In Python there is no need of semicolon. Okay, now let me show you parallelly the C program and the Python program. Purpose is same. Take a value 1 in a variable and print it. See, in Python, the method is print x. When you say print x, it is like printf. Okay, it is like printf. Print x prints the value of x. Here printf, in Python it is print. Okay, and even if you put semicolon, it will agree. Even if you don't put semicolon, it will agree. So ideally, there is no need for semicolon in Python at the end of the statement. Let me save the program, and when I am compiling the C program, Oh, sorry. I need to remove integer. No, I need to remove integer, and I just want to see. I am trying to compare C program and Python to explain one concept, but I am not comparing whether C is powerful or Python is easy. C is the most powerful language in the face of the earth right now. Even though Python does so many things in very easy manner, in the background, Python is also written in C language or Java. In case Java runtime is already implemented in C only. So even though you are writing a Python program, in the system, it will actually run a C language code only. So C language is very, very important as well. Now, let me compile the C program. It is giving me a syntax error, correct? Now, let me open another command prompt and let me also show you. One second. I'm just trying to show you in the best possible manner by keeping both things in side by side. So let me go to CIET, then PY. See, for execute, for interpreting, and Python is an interpreter. Line by line it will do. It's not a compiler. Compiler means all the lines it will compile in a single go. Whereas Python is an interpreter. Python is an interpreter. It will do line by line. Colon is required for Python. I think no. Colon is required in Python for something else. Nanda Nandini. Okay, it's not required. Colon is for something else, Amma. Not here. Okay, if at all, if I do some mistake, let it give an error. Okay, colon is not a colon is required for something else, Amma. I will explain you. Now, to compile or to execute, sorry, to interpret, basically when I use compile means in an interpreter manner only. Okay, to compile the Python program and execute, the command is either you type Python program name.py or py program.py. Now you see C language gave me a syntax error, whereas Python did not even bother to give me syntax, but it has also like got successful execution as well, because C language is strongly typed language. There is a syntax error. There is a syntax error because in line 4 we did not mention the data type of the variable x. We did not give. But in case of Python, even though we did not declare the data type of the variable x in Python, we could get the program compiled. Basically, Python is an interpreter. Compiled successfully and also executed successfully. And we got the expected output as well. expected output, that is the value of x as 1. How come? What does it mean? What does it mean? Is Python, or does Python, or you can say, does it mean that Python never need a data type? That's the question. Whether Python does not need a data type? That's the question now. And what kind of property is this? Where without a data type declared for a variable, correct? Without a data type declared for a variable, we could actually get the outcome. Okay, there is a concept here. Let me take the screenshot. And I believe that you guys are able to follow me. Now tell me, in case if you have any doubts. So kindly use the chat box for only the program related things. Okay, so don't be very funny. I can see somebody logged in as YS Jaganmohan Reddy, and they are saying stay home and stay safe. Yeah, definitely. We will follow that, and we are only having online workshop. So kindly do not distract the people along with me and the students by typing such kind of things. And one more person is saying that not audible. Am I not audible, guys?
Yes, sir. Your voice is clear.
Okay. I think we can expect some mischievous students here. So it's okay. We'll go with them as well. Okay. Another participant is telling it has a default string data type, but for any other operations, we need to mention data type like in Bikki Gokul Krishna. Your understanding is wrong. I understand from where you are typing this, but anyways, your understanding is wrong. I will give a clarification for that. Okay. Now let us move ahead. Tell me till now you understood the concept or not? Let me know. Tell me whether you are able to understand the way I am explaining, because I explained for 15 to 20 minutes about some programs here. So please let me know in case if you are unable to understand the flow in which I am explaining. Okay. Thank you, participants, that you are responding that you are able to understand. So let us go ahead. Let me take a screenshot here and let me clear the annotations and try to understand more about the property that has been used by the Python. Okay. Now let me close the C program. Now I am not going to again teach in parallel with C. Let me try to understand if the value is coming. If the value is coming right in the output, does it mean Python does not have any data type? Let us know. From the Python itself, we will try to understand. Okay. To know, basically print will prints the value of x. Prints the value of x. Now, to know the data type of anything in Python, to know the data type, basically, we need to use a method called as type. We need to use a method type, type. Method means function. Method means function. So let us try to understand. To print the type of X, what I have to use? I have to use, for example, print, everybody see here, type of X. Now it will give more clarity whether any data type is there in Python or it does not follow any data type. We will come to know. Now when I am just typing the data type of X here, okay, let me show you the output. Let me show you the output. Clearly, you can see the data type. The data type is class int. It is not giving int. It is not giving int. What I mean to say, let me try to highlight. See, print X gave 1, but type of X is giving me class int. So there is a concept here. The instruction type of X, the instruction or the method, you can say, the method type of X gave us class int. What does it mean? It means that X is an object of class int. Basically, it's a reference, it's an instance, it's a reference. Okay, that means X is not a variable. The program name is understand variable, but what you need to understand is Python is an object oriented programming paradigm. First point, what you need to understand is, so everything in Python will have classes and objects. Second point. Third, from the value, what is the value? That is 1. Automatically Python took the data type as an object of class integer. Is it not? That means even though I have not given any data type, one of the participant has responded that the by default data type is string, we need to convert to int. No, that is not correct. Here you see there is no by default string. I think B Gopi or somebody. I'm not trying to point out that you are wrong, but I'm trying to correct your understanding. Okay, there is no default data type in Python called as string. But I know why he is responding like that. That I will come to that. I will come to that. Why B Gopi Krishna has responded that by default there is a string. There is a. I understand he might have got little confused. I will give clarification for that. Okay. So when I am giving the value as 1, automatically it is giving me as class integer object automatically. That means data types are there in Python, but no need to give data type. What does it mean? Without giving a data type, in this example, a data type, basically an object of class int is created in the background. In the background. I believe you are able to follow me and you are able to understand. I have taken this screenshot also. This will be a material for you to understand. Let me clear the annotations. And now, let me come to the chat box. Yeah, I think one of the participant, Niti, is also Shashagiri. Yes, I didn't understand how to compile the program. One of the student has responded, I didn't understand how to compile the program. Okay, I will tell you. See, it's very simple. In the text editor, NPP will open the notepad for writing. So you type whatever you want and close this. You come to the directory where I am executing. You see the simple program.c and then understand variables. To execute or to compile any Python program and execute, simply type py after installing Python from the command prompt. Py understand variables.py, automatically output will come. Now is it clarified? One of the student has responded that they didn't understand how to, the name of the student is Indian. So whether you understood? Okay, thank you. Okay, fine. Now let us try to understand some more concepts. Let me change the value. Okay. For example, let me give x equal to 3.14 in the same program. Let me print x and then print type of x. Let me save the program and I will execute the program now. So now what? I have increased three more lines. For example, x equal to 3.14 and I am printing the value x and I am printing the type of x. Let me let me execute the program now. So yes, some of the participants are telling class float, which is absolutely correct. Now, what shall we understand from this output? So when you give x equal to 1, it is giving me class int, is it not? From the first 3 lines, it is giving me as class int. The moment I change the value, the moment I changed the value, automatically the data type object is also changed. The moment I change the value, the data type objects also got changed automatically. I am not giving anything, no. What does it mean? What shall we understand from this now? Let me come to the chat box and let me ask the students. Let me see, because I like the responses of the students in right now in this workshop of Chalapati College, because many people are parallelly typing their answers. So I'm really happy to see that. Tell me what shall we understand from this? Akash, Python always known its data type. Okay, to some extent you are right, but I want more technical answer. Yes, I think one of the participants has responded. Dynamically typed language, Sweta, but yeah, correct. Okay, good. I think some good responses are coming. So let me just summarize. The responses are 100% correct. Some people are saying it is dynamically typed language. One person has given me very good answer. That is, depending upon the value of the variable, the data type is changed. That's a perfect answer. And one more person has actually given me a very interesting answer. That is, it overrides the old value. I will come to that. I think his name is Subbu. 541 Subbu. Very good. Now, let me just tell you, is this possible in C language? Is this possible in C language? What is possible? Giving the same variable name as two objects. So basically what we need to understand is, depending on the value of the variable, the object type is changed. Basically it has changed from integer to float. This is the property called as dynamically typed language. This property is called as dynamically typed language. That means the type is dynamically decided during the execution of the program, which means the data type is assigned during the execution of the program dynamically. That is basically, that is what is called as dynamic. Okay, now I am asking you one doubt. I have a doubt here. In the same program, see, some people may already know about this, but our intention is to give good knowledge to all the students for getting good career opportunity. So sometimes it may be known to you, so you need to be little patient enough. In the same program, how come there are two objects with different types, but the object reference or the object name is same? That is X. Here class int and class float. That's my question. How it is possible? Whether it is possible in C language, can you give integer x equal to 1 and floating point x equal to 3 in C language? Let me take the screenshot. So in C language, it is not possible. In Python, how it became possible? Is Python greater than C, or C language does not know about this concept? Where Python in the background, it is running C only. That is called as C Python. That also I will show you in the workshop. Okay, let me clear all the drawings and just show you. Many of you are responding in C language, it is not possible. But my question to the final year is, why in C language it is not possible? No, I am not talking about structures in C. I am not asking about structures in C. My question is, imagine this is a campus selection. This is not a campus selection, but in case if somebody is asking, simply if you say not possible, nobody will give you job. No, you need to technically explain why it is not possible in C language. It is not possible, that is correct. Let me take the same program and let me write int x equal to 1 and then float x equal to 3.14. Here I have to give percentage F. Okay, let me execute. I hope that you guys are able to understand and the way I am explaining is comfortable for you. In case if you are feeling that, no sir, you are not able to explain us clearly, please give the valuable feedback today itself in the chat box so that I can change the way I am explaining. Why? Because the major advantage of this program should go to the student community. That's my passion and my interest. If I keep on talking and if you are unable to understand, then I feel that I am a failure. Only when you understand what I am speaking, and whenever I am speaking, if it is making sense, then only a teacher will be a successful teacher. Now you see what it is telling clearly. My program, my syntax, my compiler is telling was when you are writing float x equal to 3.14, it is conflicting with the type of x. See, this is how you have to explain me. Simply, if you say no, that means you are a normal student. But in case if anybody is asking and if you are explaining, sir, there is a conflict with the data type of x. Similarly, you see, and it is also showing this is the error and why the error came. It is telling me was you please note that the previous definition of x is there. That means x is defined twice. X is defined twice. Such a beautiful message has come which tells us the mistake which we have done in C language. See here, clearly it says, because there is a previous definition and that means no two variables are allowed. See here, in C language, no two variables are allowed with the same variable name. No two variables are allowed with the same variable name. That means you cannot give int x comma x or you cannot give int x float x character x like that. Tell me why it is not allowed. My next question. Why it is not allowed? Why? What is the problem for C language? It could have allowed, no. Suppose in a class, for example, two people can be there with the Suresh name, no, in real time. I want to use X only. Why it is not allowing me? Can somebody tell me the technical answer for this? Why C language is not allowing, whereas Python is allowing? But at the same time, C language is the most powerful language when compared to any language. Okay. Can somebody respond? Let me come and see the chat box. Yes, correct. Firdos is telling correct only. In C, we cannot give different data type values to a single variable. 100% correct. But why? Yes, I think one of the participants, Subbu, has good understanding of in-depth concepts. So I appreciate one of the student, I think 17-541, Subbu. He keep on writing overriding is not allowed. Subbu, can you please explain what do you mean by overriding? C language is a platform dependent language. C, but not Python. No, that's not the correct answer. No, C language is procedure oriented, Python is object. No, that is not the correct answer. Sweta, already I explained you, C is strongly typed. That is not the answer. I will tell you the technical reason why two variables are not allowed with the same name in C language. Typecasting, no, no, no. One of them wins. No. Okay, let us not waste our time. I will tell you, please observe one thing here. Integer x and floating point x are declared inside the main. That means these are local variables. These are local variables. I believe now you guys may understand what I am saying. They are local variables. So, where are local variables stored? Local variables are stored in stack. Stack for local variables. What is a stack? I think everybody will understand what is a stack. Okay. So, in the stack, that means in the same stack. See, every process will have a separate stack. What is a process? A program in execution. So when I am executing this program, it becomes a process for my CPU. Are you able to understand the way I am explaining? A program in execution is a process for CPU, correct? Each process will have a common stack. A common stack. Even if there are multiple threads also, for a process there is a common stack. So it is not possible to store two variables with the same name inside the same stack. It is not possible to store two variables with the same name in this stack. That is the correct answer technically. Okay. Now, let me take a screenshot. Now, I am going to ask one more answer. So, in C language, in the same program, we cannot use more than one variable with same name. Is it true or false? In C language, see, I'm just trying to tell you the concepts in Python with comparison with C language, so that you will get more clarity about the Python foundations. Okay, in C language, in the same program, we cannot use more than one variable with the same name. Is this statement true or false? True or false? True. Some people are saying no. Some people are saying not audible. Am I not audible?
You are audible, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So some people are saying, like Subhash Mekapati is telling, we can use another main function. 99% people are telling me true. 99 students are telling me true, but false. See what I am asking. In C language, in the same program, we cannot use more than one variable. Everybody is telling true, 99%. Some students are telling, I can use another function. I can use another function. False. That means in C language, we can use the same variable more than once, but not in the same function. That is the correct answer. Some of the students have responded about that. Okay, let me take the screenshot. Now, I will try to explain you a simple example. Not only different functions or global variable also. Basically, you can use global variable also, right? Or you can use block variables. You can use block variables. See, these are the hidden concepts about a simple program in C language or a simple program in Python. I feel that I'm giving a good kickstart of the first day. So I'm trying to tell you the technical hidden aspects of the programming language. The program is very simple, right? But the concepts behind it, because we are in a final year now, we are going to go for a campus selection. So everybody knows. You go and type in the Google, what are the interview questions in C language? There will be thousands of questions. That means the question bank is ready. The answers are ready, but only few people are getting campus selection. Why? Why? Because of not having the foundations strong. Not having the foundations strong. Now, let me clear all the drawings and everybody see, I can also use, for example, everybody observe clearly. I can write here int x equal to 100. In the same program, I can use two names. Not only in a block, for example, let me come here, okay, and let me open a block. I don't know how many of you know this. Separate block in main function. Here itself I can write int x equal to 245. So if I print the x value here, the value of x inside a block is %d x. Now what it will do is, it accepts three different x in this program. It accepts three different x. Yeah, Leela Jamula, I will explain. Then how Python is accepting, which is not possible to store. Leela, participants Leela Jamula, I am going to explain that. For that only I am explaining the C program. Okay. Now, if I explain you what happens in C language, then I can explain you clearly why it is allowing in Python. So let me compile the C program. Here it will give, in the first print statement, it will give 1. Second print statement, it will give 245. And 100 will never come. Okay, it has come because of the print statement. By default, it will give in the same line. So let me compile the program again. Clearly, you can understand that 1 is coming and 245. That means in the same function also, by using a block variable, I can use. But how come? Just now I told, now here, both the x are local variable only, correct? It looks like both the x inside the main are local variable. See, I will just try to tell you by writing some annotations here. Let me see. This is global variable. Global variable stored in heap. I believe that you guys know what is a heap. All the global variables are stored in a heap, not in a stack. So it allowed global variable X along with the local variable X. Okay, then this is local variable X, correct? Local variable inside main. So stored in stack. Everybody will agree with me. It's stored in stack. Then what is the third one? So first one and second one, there is no a conflict because one is in heap, another one is in stack. So obviously there are two different places. But this is bit confusing. No, actually there is no confusion, but I will explain you now. What is this one? This is block variable inside a block in main only. Inside main only, but there is a block, separate block inside main. Then what exactly happens is stored in the same stack. It will stored in a same stack of main. Then how come it is allowing in a sub block of the same stack? So in case if you have any doubt on this particular explanation, let me write a small diagram so that you will clearly understand. See here, there is a part of RAM that is heap. There is a part of RAM that is heap. Inside this heap, you will get X, which is a global variable. There is a global variable X. Okay. So the address will be say different like this. Now, for the main function, so basically what I mean to say, for X equal to 100, this is the concept. And for X equal to 1 and X equal to 245, what exactly happens inside the operating system is basically the memory management of operating system does something very much interesting in this manner. Okay, there will be a stack because every function will have a stack for main. Every function will have a separate stack. Inside this particular stack, you are going to store X equal to 1. That is the local variable. This is value 1 and this is X. Okay, and here the value is 100. Correct? Now, there will be a separate block because we have declared a curling brace here in line number 7 and 9. So, there will be a separate block of memory. And inside that, it will store X with the value 245. So, that's why it is allowing the value 245 even though it is in the same function. But it is in a initial. I need, sorry. 1 second, sorry. This is a separate block. This is a separate block. That's why it allowed the same name 3 times. One is no conflict, it is heap, even though it is in the same function because it is a different block. It has a, in the same stack, it will manage some other locations and there is no conflict. So there is no conflict. No conflict had occurred with local and block variables inside main. I believe that technically the way I am explaining is as per your expectations. And let me just come back. How can we identify the block variable? Yeah, by writing in a curling brace. Line number 7 and 9, you see there is a curling brace inside the main. That is called as a block. Okay, any doubts in this? Why C language has allowed in this particular instance? But if you are writing same in the normal block inside the main, it will not agree. Now I will tell you how come Python has given me chance without, there is no curling brace, no function, no. Please explain once. Okay, Akash is asking me again. Let me explain. Akash, let me explain you. Let me take a screenshot and let me open the screen by clearing all the drawings. Let me clear all the drawings, remove the annotations, and then I will explain, Akash. I have taken a screenshot. No, now I will explain directly from there. Now, Akash, try to understand. See, when you are giving integer x equal to 100, because x is outside the main, so it is called as a global variable. Global variables are stored in one separate part of primary memory that is called as heap. That is called as heap. So this is stored in one area called as heap. But if you see the next segment of code, the next segment of code is the main function. Within the main function, I have declared x equal to 1, and everybody please observe, including Akash, how a block is there. See here, I am drawing a box, separate box inside the main. That is a block. How to define a block? By giving a curly brace in line number 7 and 9. The moment you give a curly brace, what happens is within the main itself, imagine this is main. In case if you are giving a block, it will reserve some more memory separately in the same. See, for example, it is like a 2-bedroom house. It is a 2-bedroom house, right? You will have 2 different places, no? But the entrance of the house is same. There will be a lobby. After that, you will have 2 bedrooms. So imagine within the main is a 2-bedroom house now. Okay. So there is a master bedroom and there is a child bedroom. Imagine a block is a child bedroom where a child is sleeping. In the master bedroom, the parent is sleeping. So the parent is X with 1, the child is X with 245. So that's why in C language it could allow. But I cannot declare int x equal to 1, int x equal to 3. I cannot give 2 integer with the same name x inside the main only without a separate block. Akash, is it clear? Akash, is it clear? Okay. Now, the main interesting aspect is in Python. We will come to Python now. Okay. See, I believe that you people are able to understand why I am actually comparing C language here. Not to prove C language is better or Python is better. What is actually happening in C language? Why it is allowing in Python? To understand, we need to actually compare. Then only you will clearly understand the hidden aspects in Python. Now, coming back to Python, even though it is in the same block, I am not having any separate block. No, I have written x equal to 1 and x equal to 3.14. How it is allowing here? How come it is allowing here? Okay, so to answer that, let me just execute. So here our question will be, how come Python is allowing two different objects in the same program? Okay, Leela Jamula is asking why it is needed to declare global variable. See, global variable is accessible to all the functions. Global variable is accessible to all the functions. In that example, Leela Jamula, I did not make use of global variable, but I just declared you to show you there are three ways of giving same variable name. One is in global, one is inside main, and in a separate block. I just want to show you a different aspect. That's why I declared. Leela Jamula, is it clear? Your doubt? Okay. Now, how come Python is accepting such kind of things which C language did not even allow? In C is not allowed, correct? Using the same name in the same function. In Python, what is the background concept? What is the concept behind, or what is the simply I can say in Python how it is allowed? Simple. In Python, how it is allowed? To understand this question, okay, to understand this question, we need to change the program little bit. To understand how come Python is allowing same name twice. Basically, same object name twice in the program. Okay. We shall know the concept of memory allocation in Python. We should know the concept of memory allocation in Python. That is what is happening in the background. Okay. So let me explain you now. In Python, all the variables are stored in heap. All the variables are stored in heap, not stack. Why? There should be a reason. There should be a reason. Okay. Why? In C, local variables are stored in stack, but here it is stored in heap. Why? Why? Because due to dynamically typed language as the type is decided in execution time, Python uses heap. That is one reason. Now, okay, next question. In case of even, or I can say, we will get one more doubt now. What is the doubt? How two variables or two objects can stay in the heap with two or with same variable name, with the same name. Obviously, it is not possible, no? Whether it is a stack or a heap, you cannot store two same reference objects with the same name. Okay. To understand, let us check the address locations of x as 1 and x as 3.14. Let us see the address locations. Okay. So to know the address of any object, use the method id. ID means identity. Identity refers to the address. ID stands for identity, which means the address location. Let us now see that. In case of any doubts, let me see the chat box. Subbu, you are not correct, Subbu. Subbu has given one response privately. Heap allows to store same variable name for multiple times. ID is unique. Subbu, I think your understanding is wrong. Okay, let me just check. So to let us change the program now, little bit. Not change completely, but okay. Now, let me just tell something like this. The value of x is, then the type of x is type of x, and then print the address of x is ID of x. Address of x is ID of x. Similarly, let me copy paste the same lines to save the time. Let me copy again, and so we are giving x equal to 1, then x equal to 3.14. Now you yourself will know from the output what exactly is happening inside Python. What if we use print ID of x instead of that theory? Okay, okay. One of the student is asking, you can simply write print ID of x. It will come. Why I wrote that string is for a better feel. The address of X is, the type of X is. Syed, you are also right. You can also use ID of X. There is no need to simply, I can say print X. See, whenever you are writing any program, it's always good to write some good kind of messages so that if anybody is seeing your program, it looks good. Other than that, there is no impact of that particular string which I have written inside. Now, everybody, please observe the output exclusively from the print statement in line number 7 and print statement in line number 12. See, when the value is X, address is 1498. One location is there. Don't worry about the value. What is 14986? That is the address. But when I am giving X equal to 3.14, it says a different location. So actually, Python is hiding two things here. Python is hiding two concepts here. The concepts are clearly, we can notice that the address location of X equal to 1 is different from X equal to 3.14. That's the first observation. So what does it mean? In Python, once you give a different value, or exactly I will tell you at line number 7, line number 9, in Python at line number 9. What is line number 9? X equal to 3.14. The previous class int instance is deleted from the heap and a new instance with class float is created in heap with a different address. I hope Sidhu, I think one of the student who told that heap will allow the same location's identity multiple times and all. No. Why? Because here what happened is you are thinking that you have written two different instances in the same program, but Python has deleted the previous instance. But output has come. Output has come because you have printed before assigning X equal to 3.14. So even though the end user thinks that Python allows two instances in the same program, actually it is not. It is only one instance. So Python is hiding everything. So people think that Python can do many things. Python can do wonders. See, definitely Python can do wonder, but the basic foundation of these things nobody will teach. I am telling you. People will be very happy. Write one number, write second number, add two numbers, show me the output. Output came. My thing is over. No. When you are actually going for industry, no, you should know the details in a very typical manner. Then only getting a job is easy, but sustaining in the industry will become easy when you know all the background knowledge. Okay. For example, to prove that there is only one instance, we got both the values because we printed the integer related value before line 9. Before line 9. That's why it is coming like that. But in case if you want to know whether it is really single instance or multiple instances, let me just come to annotate. I will take only couple of minutes more. We started the session little late. Now my clock ticked 6 o'clock. So just give me 2 minutes. Okay. Let me just change in this manner. X equal to 1. For multiple line comments, I believe that you 3 single quotes is for multiple line comment. Now all these things are commented. Single line comment is hash. Now let us see what will be typed. Let the previous output be there. I believe now you can understand clearly that the previous instance is no more. This is a proof that even though you are giving 2, it's not actually 2, it's only 1. It's only 1. That means the same C language concept is intact in Python also. Why? Because the basic building block concepts of any programming language cannot change at all. Like for example, Ohm's law will never, Ohm's law, Faraday's law will never change. So like that, a same name in the same function cannot be used twice. Whatever program, but here, because of the way it is implemented, it looks like it is allowing, but it is not. So it's only one instance. It's only one instance. Now, that's it for my today's class. Even though the schedule says that I need to talk about